Right, grade 6. For today's lesson, morning everybody, we are going to be discussing why people move from certain areas in South Africa to other areas in South Africa. I'm going to give you pictures that will explain the rural areas and the urban areas so that we can understand it. The first thing you're going to look at is we're going to look at a picture that I'm going to give you that is of an urban area. You can see that's a farming area, there's animals, there's very simple houses, it's very green and it looks very peaceful. That is the first picture that we are going to look at. And this is your rural area. A lot of people live in rural areas in South Africa. And then the second picture that we are going to look at is your urban areas. There's a big picture here. You will have a copy of both of these pictures. If you have a look at this picture, you can see buildings, streets, people. Looks very busy and a lot is happening in that picture. And that area, can anybody tell me what it's called? Nobody? Okay, yes, it is a city, but we call it an urban area. And we can see a very big difference between the two areas. Very big. What I want you to do is what we're going to look at now. We're going to do speech bubbles about the certain areas. Within the speech bubbles, I'm going to show you on the board, but you will all be given a form. You'll get your piece of paper and you will see it will say picture 1, and you will write in that column I see, in this column I think, and I wonder. And in the columns in the bottom, you will see picture 2 and you will write the same. When you're looking at your pictures, I want you to talk to me about what do you notice about these pictures? What can anybody say about what they notice? Yes, it's green. You see the animals. You see the buildings, the very quiet buildings. Does it look like there are a lot of people? No, there's not a lot of people. So then you are going to say, I see. Where you say, I think, you are going to write, do you think that there are roads there? Do you think there are businesses there? Yes. Do you think people can make money there? Yes, it looks like there are no streets. There are no schools? Okay, let's look into that. So you are going to say in your column, I see, I think. Then you are going to say, I wonder. When you are looking at your picture, I want you to look to imagine that you're standing in your picture and you're going to tell me, I wonder. I wonder, is it noisy to live there? Are there people? Are you going to have a lot of friends? Okay? That is the kind of thing that you're going to say. All right. So now I want each of you to take out your piece of paper and then you are going to fill in your graphs. Okay. I'm just going to give you some things here so that you can think about it. Some examples so that we can go through them. So your speech bubbles are, I think, I wonder, and I see. Alright, if you have a look at the rural area, this is what we discussed. It looks like a healthy way of life. Yes or no, there is no electricity, there is no running water, and it's quiet. I think there's lots of green grass. I think it looks clean and healthy. I wonder if I'd like to live here, or would I like? I think I would like to live here. You can have that one in I think or I wonder. Okay, I wonder. Here's some examples. Are the people poor? Are there schools? Are there movies? Are there food? Where would you like to live? In one of those houses? Think about if you would like to live there. Wonder about it. Tell me what you see. In an urban area, we see lots of buildings, lots of cars, it looks like it's noisy, and we see lots of people. I think it's busy. I think that the buildings are very big. I think there's lots of transport. I think there's lots of cars. Yes, right, Tyler. Yes, you think lots of people will work there. Okay. I wonder, if you're there, you wonder if it's noisy. I wonder if I'd like to live amongst people. Okay, those are just a few examples. So now I want you to work on that yourselves, and then you will report back to me, and we will discuss and add and see if we agree or disagree with each other. Right. Let's work on the negatives and the positives. Okay, can somebody tell me some negatives of living in a rural area? Okay. These negatives would make people move to an urban area. Remember, urban is where the city is. Let's talk about the reasons why they would want to move from a rural area into an urban area. Okay. Tell me. Yes. People in the rural areas are generally poor. We are tired of being poor. Okay, what would be another reason why people would leave the rural areas? Yes, cheesy. Yes, you want to go to a high school perhaps, and you don't have a high school in your rural area, so you will move to a city, into an urban area to go and maybe have a better school. Yes, you'll have better choices of schools, so you will be able to do more. Okay, another thing, anybody else? Yes, there's jobs. There will be more jobs. Another one. Yes, very good. I can earn money and send it home to the people who are still living in the rural area at home. A lot of people do that in South Africa. Here's another one that I thought of. I need to live close to a hospital for better health care. If somebody's got diabetes, if they're epileptic, if they need to have medication, they need to be close to a hospital. It doesn't look like there's many hospitals in the rural areas. Okay. What's another important thing that we want? That you can see that's different between here and here. Anybody? Is there electricity? Look at that. The toilets, they're probably out here. They're not proper flushing toilets. Would that make you one of the reasons why you want to move? Yes. We want electricity and toilets. Hopefully there's no load shedding so that you do get electricity. What are the other benefits? Yes. You want to go to have libraries, churches, shops, universities. There are a lot more facilities. Facilities are things that you have that gives you better use. They're working things. They work. If you look in the rural area, there are no libraries. There are no shops. There are no skateboard parks. There are no movie houses. There are no universities. There are not schools that you can think of. So those are facilities. They're things that you will have that you'll be able to use. Another thing. Okay. I'm young. If you're young, what's important? Your friends. You want to have your friends around. If you live in an urban area, you'll have a lot more people that you can meet, you can see. If you live in a rural area, there are fewer people that you can meet and that you can see. Okay, let's look at the positives of being in the rural areas. Yes. I want to be a farmer. You cannot be a farmer in the city. You have got to go to the rural areas. Another thing, which would be my choice, is I would like to stay in a peaceful, quiet, simple place. I love nature and I want to stay with my family. If my family were living in a rural area, I would want to stay with my family. I think this would be quite scary to go and live in when you have lived in a quiet, gentle place your whole life. Okay. My children, I want you to complete that, and then when you're finished, we're going to report back and we're going to discuss your positives and your negatives that you think about why you would want to move. This goes from I see, I think, and I wonder. If you think about it properly, a whole lot of questions come up. Then you can picture yourself being there thinking, would I move? Would I stay? The next thing that I want to go about is we want to talk about the movement between rural and urban areas. A lot of these areas over here, we discussed why people would want to move. And then what I want you to do is we're now going to move on to the next activity where I'm going to split you into groups. You're going to be in groups of 3 or 4. And I am going to ask you to complete a Venn diagram. The Venn diagram will show you, I will draw a copy of the Venn diagram on the board for you. It will show you what the differences are and what the similarities are between the 2 areas. So in the Venn diagram, when you work together, you'll be able to work it out quite simply. This is a Venn diagram. Okay, you will have your one circle over here that you will draw, and you will have another circle that interlinks over here. Okay, this is urban, that's the city, and this is rural. What happens in an urban city that you don't get happening in the rural areas? Anybody? Yes. Electricity. Okay. Electricity. Clean water? Yes. Okay, now could we get clean water in an urban area and a rural area? But wouldn't you get clean water from the tap, from the municipality? Okay, so that would be clean water. That belongs to both of them. Okay, what happens in a rural area that doesn't happen in an urban area? Yes, fresh air. Okay, and so I want you to list the things that only happen in urban areas, things that only happen in rural areas, and then the things that happen in both of the areas. That's what we're going to do. Okay. Then what I want you to do after you've done this, we all do de Bono's hats, and I want you to choose. You're going to go back into your simple on your own, and I want you to choose about where you would like to be. Okay, so you've done your Venn diagram, and we're going to use the de Bono's hats. The de Bono's hats, we're going to use the red hat. Okay, let me take this off my wall. It's been there a while. The de Bono's hats. The red one we are going to talk about is feelings. So I'm going to ask you, where would you like to live? And I want you to say why you would feel the way you do about living where you live. So here's your red hat, and that's feelings. Okay, so I want you to tell me how you feel living in the place that you've chosen to live in. And then we are going to use the white hat. The white hat are facts. You're going to give me facts about why you like living where you do. So these facts have to be things that happen there. That is not what you think or you dream of. It's what is actually there. A white hat. Facts. So, for example, If you stay in a rural area, you have to say it makes you feel healthy, warm, happy, it's quiet, it's comfortable, it's just what you need. It makes you feel safe, and it warms your heart. The facts here of white, if you want to live in a rural area, the facts are it's quiet. Another fact, it's close to nature. Another fact, the fact is you like to live outdoors. So I need you please to write a short paragraph describing which area you'd like to live in an urban area or a rural area, urban area, and then I want you to give me the de Bono's hats. The red, write a short thing about how you would feel living there, and then the white hats give me the facts about why you want to be where you are. Okay, guys, please continue, and I hope you enjoyed the lesson.